And Kurukshetra is also mentioned in the Vedas. And it says even demigods come there. And who else came there? One of the Lord's incarnation? Parashuram. Parashuram, why did he come there, Prabhuji? After killing Kshatriyas?
Yeah, to rest.
We're talking before Prabhuji. So Parashuram, after killing Kshatriyas so many times, he felt that I've done, sort of sadhar, and I need to do some tapasya, some austerity. So he personally, his Lord's incarnation, if you see in Dashavatar, Parashuram is there. He personally came and did tapasya for a very long time in that particular kshetra, in that particular field. So it's very, very pious from that perspective, because anything touched by the Lord, it's very pious. So, and lots of yajnas have happened there. So somehow they have chosen this field, this area for the battle, which is known as Dharma Kshetra. So what will flourish there? So Dharma Kshetra. If it is rice Kshetra, what will be grown there? Rice. If it's a wheat Kshetra, wheat will be grown there. So Dharma Kshetra, Dharma will be cultivated there, nourished there. It will be helped there. So who is dharmic and who is adharmic, who is religious and who is irreligious? We all know, as well as the Dhritarashtra also knew. So he is a bit apprehensive about this, using this bhumi, because the bhumi will have the prabhav. So it says time, place, and circumstances. The place is very important. So if we're doing bhajan at home and we're doing bhajan in 180 Kalkan Street, will there be a difference? Will there be a difference? Why? The Radha Gopinath is personally present there. He's been worshipped there for the last 30-40 years by very great Vaishnavas. 6-7 times a day, full offering going on, no matter what happens. COVID, Corona, temple lockup, we can't visit. But temple DT service is constantly going on. And these DTs were personally brought by Prabhupada, installed by Prabhupada. So these DTs are very, very powerful. If you do bhajan in front of them, obviously the prabhav, the effect of that bhajan will be much higher. So we should try. That's why one of the reasons why we should visit temple so often, as much as possible, at least once a week, we should try to go. Not to see Gopinath, to be seen by Gopinath. Seeing Gopinath is one part, but to be seen by Gopinath, that's big. That's big. If he sees us, what else will be left? Which anartha will be remaining in the heart? So that's why we should go in front of Gopinath and just hold the hands and just say, "Your servant is here. Please accept me." So it's very nice. And so that sort of impact of place was there. And what's the second line? Kurukshetra, some beta Yusuf is better for the battle. They have come here. And why is he asking this question? We discussed about that. And we made a metaphor there. If you sit for prasadam and you have chanted Mahaprasad Govinde, and after that, so what did devotees do after that? They had prasadam. But still he's asking, what does it mean? What does it mean? What is he thinking in his mind by asking this question, which is actually apparently so clear? Why is he asking that?
Because he still got a hope that his sons are going to still win the war.
Yeah, he has a little hope in his heart, which he knows is impossible. He knows, but still, there's always a hope in all of our living entity. We know we are all going to get failed, but still we have a hope. Let's do something nice in the And the second line was showing Mamakaha. When they said Mamaka, Mamaka refers to his attachment to his own sons. And he's thinking his brother's sons are other party, inimical party. So what does this attachment represent for us? Discriminating, yes. That's definitely attachment to the body and attachment to what we like for this body. Not only we want to save the body, we want to save the possessions which gives happiness, sense gratification to this body. So if someone attacks, yes, so not only we want to save the body, we want to save the possessions as well. You want to save few, you'll take few things before running out, isn't it? And that's natural. So Dhritarashtra wanted to save that, and that's why he was super attached, and that's why Shastra says he was not only physically blind, he was spiritually blind as well. Although he knew who Krishna is, what was the reasons of Krishna's appearance, but still he was too much attached. Even Vyasadeva came, other sages also came. Bhishma Pitamidra was constantly counseling him not to be engaged in this war. But what did he say? I'm helpless. Although he was not technically, he was the king. Whatever my son says, I'll do it. So this sort of over-attachment in Shastra is not recommended. Attachment is natural. And that's why I say you have to dovetail your attachment. So you don't have to quit your attachment. What you have to do, dovetail your attachment. You see this house as Krishna's property. So it's not my property, which I'm trying to say. It's Krishna's house. I'm trying to protect as best as possible. If someone attacks in Krishna's house, what do? You fight back. Okay, so Mamka Pandava Shaiva Kim Akurva Samjaya. And what does Akurva word represent? Past tense. It has already happened, which we already discussed. I think someone said on the Zoom 10th day. And we know all that. Why 10th day? When Bhishma fell, then Dhritarashtra was a little bit initially, actually, he was hoping when I have Bhishma and Drona and Kripacharya, Ashwatthama, like that, who can defeat myself? And also, in terms of number, how much was the army on Duryodhana's side? 11 Akshauhani, and this was like 7, roughly half of the army. So he was like quite proud. The number is great, and I have Bhishma, Pitama, and Dronacharya like that warriors, so who will defeat? But when Bhishma fell, then it's like, no, Khatri ki ganti. Something is serious there. Okay, let's go to the next verse. 1.2, which I think we have discussed. How many did? 3? 4. Okay, let's do quickly. Okay, so yeah, we'll not read the verse. We'll just pick up few points on that. So if you can just leave the Sanskrit. That's it. Yeah. So Sanjay Avacha, the start of Pandavanikam Vyudam Duryodhana. So now camera is going to Sanjay. So the class has asked a question. One more thing I think we discussed. So this is the only verse spoken by Dhritarashtra in the whole Bhagavad Gita. And the response given of the first and the last question of the last question will be given in which verse? Last verse of Bhagavad Gita, 1878. And what is that verse? What did it say? Wherever there's a Krishna, that's where it will be Shri. Vijay. It says Shri will be there, Vijay will be there. So actually Sanjay has already answered, but Dhritarashtra is still could not understand. Very clearly said, Jai will be, victory will be on the other side. You can still stop the battle. Actually, that's what Sanjay was trying to do. He's already told whole Bhagavad Gita is told Virat, you all know that, right? So, and Krishna will show in his mouth, all the great warriors are going in. So he's already told everything. He's said the victory will be on the other side. Is still the Rashtra. He could have actually saved the rest of his sons. 10 days war is passed. He has lost a number of sons, I don't know. But at least he could have stopped the war now. At least whatever is remaining. Okay, whatever. Just show me the show. Yes, Prabhuji.
Previous to this one, you mentioned Dhritarashtra was he had the attachment. Was the attachment more for his son, or was it more for the actual throne and then the son?
Okay, so Prabhu, it starts from the body and it extends to the other things. So first, suppose in the emergency situation, what you will try to save? Your body. But if you could, you try to extend passport bhi le lete. Then you say mobile, laptop, and then it extends and extends and extends. So first, it obviously starts from your body and your identification of yourself with your body. A devotee will say, I'm not the body, it doesn't really matter. Just on that little story, very nice. Recent story, one brahmachari in Mayapur, he was about to go to bed. So he was putting kachwa chap. Everyone knows kachwa chap? The mosquito repellent. So he was putting that. So there's another brahmachari in the same room in Mayapur, and they live together, international. So they live together, a European-bodied brahmachari, and he said, Prabhu, don't put kachwa. And this Indian-bodied brahmachari said, Prabhu, why? But we can't sleep in Mayapur. You've been to Mayapur. You can't sleep without something like this. And he said, Prabhu, then we won't be able to sleep. He said, Prabhu, but that's violence towards mosquitoes. Please don't do that. This Indian body brahmachari who's lived in India, practically whole life, and is coming from Europe, maybe in the past he was eating, beef and whatnot. He's saying that's violence. Okay, so what are we going to do now? He said, I'll get a mosquito net. The Indian body brahmachari says, 10 p.m. Prabhuji, where are you going to get mosquito net? He said, Prabhu, just stay, I'll get it. He went out, within 30 minutes or so, he came back with the mosquito net. And then they both preparing to go to bed. So this Indian body brahmachari was very impressed. He said, wow, nice, you don't want to be violent even towards mosquitoes. And you come from a country where practically everyone eats and drinks and whatnot. He said, Prabhu, please tell me some story. So what inspired you to become to this level of non-violence? So he said, Prabhu, I'm a soldier from a Russian army. He was in a big post and he was very cruel, he said. And I was known for my killing. Every day I'll kill few people, just like that. And when the wars will happen, he was like designated for that sort of purpose. You understand what I'm saying? So he was very famous. He got some awards and all that. Because of that, he will not think much. Shoot. So he's telling his own story. So one day he was on his assignment outside, and he grabbed another person on the street. And he just didn't like his look, whatever. So he grabbed him, he put the gun on his side. He said, I'm going to shoot you. And this person, as if nothing has happened to this person. Everyone can go on mute, that would be nice. As if nothing happened to this person. So this guy's like, do you know you're going to die now? And he put the trigger, more closer to his head. So he understands. Maybe he didn't understand, what I'm doing. And this person started smiling. The gun came closer, this person's smile is increasing. And he said, I have never seen a person who's not fearful of death. So this guy said, but I'm not fearful of death. He said, really? He said, yeah, because you can't kill me. And this soldier, stepped back and said, really? What do you mean I can't kill you? I'm going to kill you right now. You can't. I'm a soul, I'm not the body. He said, what? So on the gunpoint, this man, on the gunpoint, is giving a class of Bhagavad Gita to this person who was holding the gun on his head. Anyway, 10-12 minutes, he was holding the gun, and then he put the gun down. He said, I want to know more about it. And this was a devotee, Hare Krishna devotee, distributing Bhagavad Gita and other books in Russia. And finally, this person was given a book. He read the book. He sort of, it makes sense. It makes sense somehow, And he started the same.
Hare Krishna Mataji, how are you?
Thank you, Prabhu.
All Krishna's
Happy God Purnima, Prabhu.
Yeah, happy God Purnima for you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Go on mute. Thank you so much. Oh, you can do it? Okay, thank you. So there I was. I forget myself. Hare Krishna devotee. So finally, this became a devotee, and he became the biggest distributor of his area wherever in Russia he was. So Prabhupada books have so much power. If you read message nicely with concentration, it can change the heart like within a very short time. It's not changing. That means we are not reading the books nicely. We're not following the process nicely. The process is very simple, very very powerful. But we have many times it says we create a wall around us. If there's a wall around you, can anyone talk to you? So instead of making a wall, you should make bridges around you. People can approach you. You may not understand them, you may not appreciate what they are saying, but at least they can approach you. So we should have bridges around us, not walls. So if you're open-minded, you can be respectful and see what comes down. Anyway, let's move forward. So who asked this question? Okay, let's move forward. Non-violence in Prabhupada books. Prabhu, I have not done this verse because a question came in. That's all right. I'm not discouraging the questions. I need the sense. Okay, so there's some to Module1. So Sanjay is speaking on response to Dhritarashtra that after Pandavanikam, after seeing the armies of Drashtva. Now, please remember this word Drashtva. This chapter in one sense, is based on this one word. We'll see why. More and more usage of this word or the variation of this word, you will see throughout the chapter, and you'll see how much impact of this word happens. We'll talk about this word probably in the second part of this chapter. Very, very, very important, and how it impacts us like we're sitting here. Drashtva. So after seeing Pandavani, Duryodhana. So Duryodhana, who's the prince at the stage, Acharya Upsangam. Who's Acharya? Dronacharya. He's going to Dronacharya. Upsangam, he approaches, and Raja Vachanam Abhrit. And Raja, what's the meaning of Raja here? As well as Dhritarashtra. Both. Prabhupada writes that in his translation. So Duryodhana is acting as Raja in the battlefield, and it can also be the response to the Raja Dhritarashtra because he asked the question. Okay, Vachana Abhrit, he said that. Move to the next one. Pashyetam. See, Drashta, Pashyetam. Similar words. You'll see so many variations, but this whole chapter in one sense is based on this one. This changed the whole history. This one word changed the whole history. We'll see how. Pashyetam Panduputrana, Acharya Maitin Chamu, Yudham Drupat Putrena, Tab Shishya. So what is Duryodhana saying in one sense? Pashyetam, look at this. Pashyetam Panduputrana. So this is sons of Pandu, Acharya Maitin Chamu. Maitin Chamu means Mahan, great. Great army, which has been arranged very nicely. Who has arranged it nicely? Drupada Putrena. Why is saying Drupada Putrena? Dronacharya's student. Who is the Drupad Putra? He's the son of Drupada. Why is saying Drupad Putra? Why is not naming Drashtadyumna? He could say it, no? Huh? Politics. It's called politics. What is trying to achieve by this word? So otherwise, Dronacharya loves Arjun. He's not going to fight with Arjun with full zeal. So here, but he ties the end that this is called politics. They will not call you directly. It says in Ramayana when Manthura gave the news to Kaikeyi that Ram is going to the king. What did Kaikeyi do? She took a very valuable necklace from her neck and then she gave it to Manthura. Oh, such a wonderful news. So Manthura threw that necklace on the floor. He said, oh, you foolish lady, don't you know? You're going to become a dasi of Kaushalya. You're going to become a maid servant of Kaushalya. Then she started thinking, the big story. But roughly speaking, that's how you tie. So because she loved Ram. Kaikeyi loved Ram more than Bharat. So that way didn't work. So this political people, you have to be very, very careful whom you associate. Because if you are getting these sort of sarcastic languages from the devotees around you, you can't understand. And sometimes they'll say something, they will mean something. Prabhupada said the devotee is very simple hearted. 16th chapter, Prabhupada gave this definition of devotee simplicity. He can reveal the most confidential secret to his enemy as well. And you see that definition for Bhishma Pitama. Bhishma Pitama told the secret of his death to so-called enemy, isn't it? He was a Mahajan. Can we do that? So before you call yourself a devotee, sometimes people call you a senior devotee. Wow. Before you call yourself a devotee, look at some chapters and some definition. Then we will know where we are and what's the standard of Shastra. Sometimes we call it Madhyamadhikari. Look at Bhagavatam 11th canto, the definition of Kanishtadhikari. You can all read, it's all in the Sanskrit verses, and then come back. Does that apply on us? Kanishtadhikari I'm talking. It's in Bhagavatam 11th canto. Nimi Maharaj having conversation with the Navayogendras. It's a very high standard. We just use very rules. Okay. So no doubt we should not respect others like that, but ourselves, we are a little far. Okay, so let's move forward. Drupat Putin, he is trying to die, so his politics is been coming out, you can see. And thus she shared Gimita. Why did Dronacharya allow Drashtadyumna to come? That's another great thing in this section we can get. Why did he allow? He knew Drashtadyumna is going to kill him. He knew it. Why did he do that? My enemy is coming and asking me, can you teach me how to kill you? Why is he doing that? He's a Brahman. He's following his Brahman dharma. He has opened a school to teach his students He is an eligible student besides his history that he can kill me, but he's an eligible student. He's a son of a Kshatriya. He's coming and asking, accepting me as a guru. I will do my dharma. So those times, people have so much nice values. They knew he's taken birth to kill me. Still, he's open-hearted. In that sense, he's following his Brahman dharma. In Mahabharata, Bhakti Maharaj is telling one pastime, very nice pastime. I'll just say a very short verse. Two people are fighting with each other. Usually in that days, no one fight with each other. Some people fought, but not many. Nowadays it's so common. You have to find out who's not fighting. Fighting is just absolutely common. Disagreements, quarrels. But those days, they will not fight. So a case came in front of Yudhishthira Maharaj, and these two people were fighting. Yudhishthira Maharaj was like, wow, you two are fighting. So what happened? What's wrong? He said, the guy A said, I sold my land to guy B. Whatever the name was. A sold a piece of land to B. When he sold, after that, when B was digging the land, he found a great treasure in the land. Now, who should own the treasure? B or A? B? B? Obviously, it's Rupa Prabhu's land. With while digging, you get, 5 kilos of gold. Why not? Prabhu, thank you, Gopinath. But now B is fighting with A. When you sold the land, you didn't know there's a treasure, but land belonged to you, right? So this treasure actually belongs to you. And A is saying, no, I've already sold. Everything on the land is yours. I can't take it. It's a great sin. They're both fighting. Who will own the treasure? This was the standard of Shastra. And this is just, I'm talking Dwapar Yuga, not Treta Yuga. Will you imagine this sort of court case in these days? Judge will say, go to mental asylum first. This is the standard. So when we talk about, we being great, okay, look at our history, how great people, normal people we are talking. Normal, absolutely normal people. So they didn't want to have 1 cent of anyone in their account, even by mistake. I sold the land. I didn't know what's there. It's all yours now. Whatever is there, it's all yours. So those sort of cases came in front of Yudhishthira Maharaj. I'll not tell the solution. I'll tell solution some other day. I'll leave you. Yes, Ru.
This is Sumandra Mataji's
Yes,
question.
Mataji.
So she's saying that Sanjay is telling everything that has already happened in the past.
Yes.
Because the Dhritarashtra called Sanjay on the 10th day.
Yes.
So that's the question. Is that
Yes, that's correct, Mataji. That's correct understanding. Yes.
Mataji, if that was your question, you wanted to ask something else.
Yeah, no, I just want to ask this, Prabhuji. So everything what Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra, it's all already been happened in the past. So he's telling the
10 days older news.
Okay,
He didn't have any
right.
smartphones or
Okay.
iPads. So for him, the news was the Bhishma's news was new, but he didn't know what has happened behind the scenes. So he's curious. Okay, tell me what happened. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. So okay, let's move forward to the 4th verse. Shura Maheshwasa, Bhimarjun Samayudi, Yuridhano Virakasha, Duktasha Maharata. So what Duryodhana is telling basically is telling the great warriors, great name, which are there on the other side. So who is on the other side? Shura Maheshwasa, Bhimarjun Samay. So first name came for Bhima. Why Bhima first name?
Because Bhima was always his main enemy.
Yes.
Strength and Gada and everything else.
Yeah, since childhood, the only person he could become so angry at is Bhima. I'm sure you all have seen Vyachaka Mahabharata. He even had a iron statue of Bhima, whom he was punching all day when he got angry. I heard one Indian Bollywood star. Yeah, somewhere I heard this. He said, when I get angry, I take my boxing punch bag, whatever you want to call it, and I punch it. So, and this being glorified as a standard. Wow, he's doing it, so I should also do it. We can't punch someone else, just punch this boxing bag. So Duryodhana was doing that. So his first enemy is Bhima. Second, Arjun, because Arjun and Bhima were like the 2 top ones on the other side. Yudhishthira was, as such, not such a big threat. He was the king, obviously, very virtuous. But in terms of animosity, Bhim and Arjun. Samayudhi means like them, there are many other warriors as well. Yuridhano means we discussed about Satiki, who's Satiki? We'll discuss few characters today. This is important actually, we should know them. Yes, you're right. Yes. He's from Dwarka. He has come. He is called a friend and a bodyguard actually. He's also mentioned as bodyguard of Krishna. Now, who can be the bodyguard of Krishna? But the point here is bodyguard means he loved Krishna so much. He's always with Krishna, like Lakshman with Ram. Always Lakshman said, Lord Ram, you stay and I will go and defeat all this stuff. Like that love. Lord Ram doesn't need a protection, but it's a love. So Satiki was like a bodyguard, it's mentioned. Bodyguard, and he was also the disciple of Drona. And he is also a disciple of Arjuna. So Arjun and Satiki, they both studied together in the same Gurukul under Drona. But Arjun, because of his speciality, he has gone to Sarvaloka, has got divine weapons. Actually, he has shared this divine weapons knowledge, some of them obviously, with Yudhan, Satiki. And Satiki came with Krishna, obviously. Who else came with Krishna in the battlefield? From Dwarka, except Satiki. Yes. There is one more thing. Huh? Kartavarma. He is the commander-in-chief for the Chaturangadi Sena, which Krishna gave. We'll talk about them as well. So he's an important character. Why he is important? Because he was so powerful. Actually, he had defeated Karna, but he left Karna because Arjun has taken a vow to kill you, so I'll not kill you. He has defeated Dusashan. He was such a great archer. He was a good in Gada fight, sword fight, and he's also a doctor. Satiki is also a doctor. He's like very qualified person. And he was very angry at Kauravas, when they did not give the land back. He was very angry at Draupadi's incident as well. So he was very much attached to Pandavas and obviously Krishna. So he was always with them, protecting them. And 13th day of the war, which was after the Abhimanyu war. Abhimanyu was happened, I think, on 12th day, right? So after that, when Arjun had taken a vow, Satiki was the one who could, okay, I'm not talking about in terms of spirituality or materially, when the Yuddha is happening, he was the one who actually saved Arjuna from Dronacharya. He held Dronacharya on the 13th day for such a long time because he was powerful. Otherwise, Drona was attacking Arjun. And then Arjun and Drona, if they fight, forget Jayadratha then. They can fight forever. So he actually played a very important role in Mahabharata war. And after the war, how many people came out live? How many went in? Sorry, how many went in and how many went out? 64 crore, it says. 6.4 million or whatever it is. 64 crore people went in. How many came out? 11. 10 or 11. 11th one is not so counted. So who all came out? Just 5 Pandavas. So let's count from this side. So Krishna and Satiki. So they are the 7 Pandavas side. They came out alive, obviously. Krishna, Satiki, 5 Pandavas. On the other side, 3 were remaining. The Prabhu will tell. Tirthavarma, Ashwatthama, and Kripacharya. Yeah. There is one more son of the Rashtra, which is not generally counted. Yeah. This one? I can't remember the name. Anyway, so 10 generally they say, but 11th is also correct. So Yudhan is a very important character in Mahabharata. Virat, who is Virat? When they took shelter, the Agyatwas in their exile last year, Drupad, father of Draupadi. Maharata, they're all Maharathas. Let's move to the first verse of today's discussion. Sometimes when we are reading these verses, I can skip all this, but it's good to know a little background. It makes the katha more relevant to us, how relevant it is to us, because these people were not normal people, but they still went for the good cause. And we'll see other sides as well a little bit. Drashtaketu, Chaitanya. Drashtaketu and Chaitanya, they are the son and grandson. Chaitanya is the son of Shishupal, who was killed by Krishna, and Drashtaketu is the grandson of Shishupal, is the son of Chaitanya. Kashi Rajas. Who is Kashi Raj? Kashi Raj. Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika is the father of, and Amba is going to play a very important role in Mahabharata. So Kashi Raj is also there. He is the king of Kashi. Viryavan, they're all very Virya. Purjit. Who's Purjit? Purujit is the brother of Kunti. So Kunti's father was Kunti Bhoj, which is mentioned next. Purujit Kunti Bhojascha, Shabyascha Narapungva. So Shabya is the king of another Pradesh, another country, a small country, and they are the in-laws of Yudhishthir. Their daughter was married to Yudhishthir. So Deshtu Kechu Shekitana, Kashi Raja Sevirevan, Purujit Kunti Bhojascha, Shabyascha Narapungavaha. Maybe someone can read the translation quickly.
There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Drashtaketu, Chaitanya, Kashiraj, Purujit, Kunti, and Shek.
Okay. The next one. Yudha Manusha Vikrant. I'm just going little quickly. I'm still explaining the terms because there's not much philosophy here. We'll get to the philosophy probably soon. Yudha Manusha Vikranta Uttamaja Seviryavan Sabhatro Drobdayasha Sarv Eva Maharatha. So Yudha Manusha. So Yudha Manu and Yudha Manusha. Vikranta is the very great warrior. Uttam. So Uttam, Uttamaj. Uttamajaha. So Yudha Manusha and Uttamaja, I was reading it. They are actually the brothers of Draupadi. They are the royal prince from Drupad kingdom. So there are maybe Draupadi's real brother or cousin brothers. They come from Panchal Pradesh. Saubhadra, who is Saubhadra? The son of Subhadra. So he is mentioned specifically. Twice you will see his name is coming. Because again, he's an important figure in Mahabharata. Draupdeyasha. Who is Draupdeyasha? Chav and sons of Draupadi. How many sons Draupadi had? 5. 1 from each Pandava. But Abhimanyu's name is mentioned separately. He's a son of Subhadra. Son of Maharatha. Next one. Asmatam to Vishishtaye, Tani Boj, Jotam, Naika Mansanyasya, Samdhyartham Tan Bhavinite. Now, this is a returning verse. Let's read the translation first. Anyone?
But for your information, O best of Brahmana, let me tell you about the captains who are
Now let's go with which verse number 7, right? So last few verses, who is explaining these verses? Duryodhan. What is he telling basically? The powerful warriors of the other side. Who is he explaining to? Dronacharya. So now 2 personalities are talking, Duryodhan and Drona, and the topic of discussion is look at the Maharathas of the other side. Now, he has already explained 3 verses, named many big people there. Now he is thinking, if I keep telling about another party, my party will think only they have great warriors. Huh? Now he does it. He immediately thinks, because for a politician, everything is a calculation. Huh? Whatever he speaks, how much he speaks, when he speaks, what, everything is calculated. So now he's like turned back and he's thinking about. Now, surprisingly, he has not mentioned the other side Raja, the king of the other side, who is Yudhishthir. He has told other Maharathas, but no. So you see his mentality, like his father. Mam kaha Pandavashya. So just looking at his enemies and then looking at Drona from that perspective. Now he turns around and says, okay, these are the other Maharathas. Now let me tell my Maharathas. As if Dronacharya doesn't know. They were like doing the whole planning and the strategy. They knew who is on my side, who's on their side, but still, he's trying to push them, put some enthusiasm in them. And the bottom line, actually, Acharya explained, because they were not enthusiastic about the fight. He said in the fight, the most important thing is the enthusiasm. Desh Prem, Bharatvasi, and that is very important, more than the Shakti, more than the physical strength. You need the physical strength as well. Is your enthusiasm for the fight, which actually practically doesn't exist there. You see, Dronacharya, Bhishma, they didn't want this fight, but they were dragged into it because of X number of reasons. So now he is going to tell our heroes as per Duryodhana. Let's see who these heroes are in Kaurav army. Bhavan. Prabhu, can I ask one more thing? You can have 2 tabs. I will be switching over the verses, if possible. So 1.3, if you can open, we'll see the differences and then we can compare some verses. Bhavan kisko bolte? Why do you call Bhavan? So in Hindi or in Sanskrit, when we have to address to the second person, we call it you. In English, we call you. But Hindi, we have tum or aap. Tum means someone younger to you. Aap means someone elder to you, whom you respect more than you. You call it aap. In Sanskrit, also there are 2 words. So Twam is tum, you, And Bhavan is up, with respect. So second person with respect in Sanskrit is known as Bhavan. Now, if you look at 1.3, Duryodhan, we have 1.3. Yeah. So Duryodhan starts speaking 1.3. No problem. So basically, Duryodhan in 1.3, okay, I'll tell you. I'd like to see the verse as well. In 1.3, Duryodhan is telling, is addressing Dronacharya as you. Sanskrit says that, Twam. But in 1.8, he is addressing the same person as Bhavan, Aap. See, change of language. From you, from tu to Aap. From you to has become Bhavan, Aap. Why is the change? He thought, I may have said too much. And if he gets angry, he's a Brahman, he's very powerful. Huh? So what he was trying to do, it may not have been achieved. So why a person become hesitant like that? When he's duplicit. When he's duplicit, he becomes hesitant in speaking the certain words. So in 1.3, he's addressing Dronacharya as you. Look at, you look, your disciple, Tav Shishya Dhimata, your disciple, you look, and now he's saying Bhavan, Aap. So change of words, change of mind. That also shows the politics of Duryodhan. He's trying to now please. First he was trying to put enthusiasm, now he's trying to please because he needs these people. He needs these people. So let's go back to 8. So the verse says, Bhavan Bhishmasya. So Bhavan obviously is referring to Dronacharya because he's standing in front of Dronacharya. But obviously Bhishma is also very important. Now, a quick thing about Bhishma, we all know the history. I'm not going to go into history, but the role of Bhishma in this war cannot be sidetracked. He is one of the most important person in the whole war. Now, externally, internally, he is one of a very wonderful, interesting character. He is a word of man, man of words. He's a man of word. Whatever he says, he follows, no matter what the consequences are. Is still maintaining his devotion, and he's one of the Mahajans, out of the 12 Mahajans. So Duryodhan obviously knows about it. So first he addresses Dronacharya, Bhavan, and then he addresses Bhishma because he cannot ignore Bhishma. Bhishma is the commander-in-chief, Drona is not. But why did he approach Drona? Acharya says that Drona is a Brahman and Bhishma is a Kshatriya. So Brahmins sometimes they mind their respect. So he approaches Brahmana first, so he puts Brahmana first, and then he puts Bhishma, no other person because they are important. Bhavan Bhishma Karna Shah. Now Karna, we all know the story of Karna. Karna at the moment is not present in the battlefield at the moment. And there's a history behind it, we'll not go there. But although he's not present, still he's saying Karna. Why? It's in his mind. Bhima Arjun Samayuddhi. Bhima is my first enemy. Right? Karna. He's saying Bhavan Bhishmasya Karnasya Kripasya Subhajaya. So he's mentioning the name of Karna because he's fully confident about the commitment of Karna. He's not confident about the commitment of Bhishma or Drona because they both love Pandavas so much. But he's confident about one person in the whole world, which is Karna. He's although absent in the war at the moment, still he's mentioning that he's such a great warrior. Although he was not such a great warrior. Sometimes they say, oh, Karna was killed with duplicity. Actually, that is not true. These explanations are given very openly. Karna was not, he was a great warrior, no doubt, but not such a great warrior that he had to be killed in the duplicit place. Anyway, so Bhavan Bhishma Karnasya Kripasya. Who is Kripacharya? He is the brother-in-law of Dronacharya. And why his name is mentioned as well? Because he is one of the Chiranjeevis. Chiranjeevis are who outlive Brahma. So Brahma lives pretty long life. We live like what, 70, 80 years max, something like that. Now, Brahmaji's life, anyone knows? For 324 trillion years or something? It's written in 4th chapter. I can't remember the exact number. Any mathematicians here? 341, 324, something like that. Big number. And these people outlive Brahma. Very, very long life. Huh? We talk about, we give millions to doctors, and these doctors save my 2 more years. Doctor says, get out. Can't even give 2 minutes to you. Huh? God can save. He can't. We are humans. But these are special personalities. It says when, just a little sidetrack, but important. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, when they had assembled here, there were two great distractions. Arjun got bewildered. Obviously, we know, and there's a whole Bhagavad Gita there. And the second distraction, a very major one, after the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Anyone knows what is the second distraction before the war? Yudhishthira walked to the other party. And what Duryodhana is thinking? He's coming to surrender to me. He thought like that. But why did Yudhishthira go? He went to get blessings of Bhishma, Drona, and Kripacharya. When he went to Bhishma, obviously, Bhishma, what did he say? Vijay Bhava. Let the victory be yours. And Duryodhana is looking, you're in my party or their party? But that was the people's caliber was. At that time, Yudhishthira asked Bhishma, actually even it's mentioned in one of the versions, Yudhishthira asked Bhishma on the battlefield when everyone is listening, Pitama, oh great sire, how can we kill you? He asked this question. And what Pitama said? When the time comes, I'll tell you. And he did tell. We know, ninth day. He told the secret. He went to Drona and he asked the same question. So first he takes the blessings. Please bless us. And Dronacharya also, let the victory be yours. And then he asked, how can we kill you? So Drona actually on the spot, he told in front of everyone, he told that if a trustworthy source gives me a very heartbreaking news, then I'll lay down my weapons. That time only I can be overcome. Actually, Dronacharya also could not be killed. Till the time he had weapons, he could not be killed. And Kripacharya, same thing. He had a own, no one can defeat Kripacharya. Now look at these personalities. Bhishma, Ichha Mrityu, he will die whenever he likes. Wow. Dronacharya, no one can defeat while he has the weapons. Kripacharya, no one can defeat him. But Kripacharya also gave blessings. No one can defeat me. By knowing this, go and achieve the victory. It's a contradictory statement. No one can defeat me. By knowing this, go and attain the victory. But he was not a very great fighter. And he will not be dead. That's the criteria, not that he can overcome others. There's two different things. So his name is mentioned. He's also one of the important figures there. Ashwatthama is also one of the Chiranjeevis. He's still alive. His son of Dronacharya, if you didn't know. Vikarna. Who's Vikarna? Brothers of Duryodhana. Duryodhana had 199 brothers. Why is he mentioning only one? No, Vikarna is not very powerful. When the Draupadi's chastity was violated, or the attempt was made, he was the only one from Kaurava's side who stood up and said, "You're all mad. Whatever Yudhishthira has done, he has done under the influence of gambling." And Shastra says, when you have done something under the influence of alcohol or gambling, it should not be taken too seriously. Even when you write your will, they write, Pure Hosho Havas mein XYZ writing. So with full hosh, with full consciousness, I'm writing my will. So he said, and he said correctly. And Karna, sort of dismisses the statement. Actually, he was right. So Duryodhana has a doubt on Vikarna's commitment. Will he be committed to me, or he will go and join Yudhishthira? So Vikarna is mentioning that he's trying to, you are my brother. And what about 99 others? All politics. Somdatta is also a great warrior. And Gilyudhan Satyaki is going to kill Somdatta later. Bhurishrava and Somdatta. So Bhurishrava is the son of Somdatta. Next one. The whole Mahabharata character series. We're not doing stories, but at least some mentions name. Annecha Bhava Shura Vidarthi Jita Nana Shastra Praharana Sarve Yuddha Sharada. So it's sort of wrapping it up. Translation, someone?
There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experiencing these times.
So I'll just read one line here, which is important. Told by Acharya, it's nice. Mad arthe tyakta jivitaha. Mad arthe, who's that? For my sake, mad arthe tyakta jivitaha. So they will give up their life for me. That's what he's saying. But our acharyas explain double meaning on this line. They say Saraswati is speaking from the mouth of Duryodhana, and actually Duryodhana is saying they have already laid down their life for me. This is the past tense. So Duryodhana is saying they are happy to lay down their life for me, present tense. But Saraswati ji is speaking from his mouth. They have already laid down their life. They already died. They're all going to die. We'll see that in 10th chapter anyway. Huh? So Saraswati is speaking from the mouth of Duryodhana. We'll see more of that. Nana Shastra, they have different types of weapons and they're very, excellent in what they want to do. Next. Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam dishma virakshitam paryaptam tadmetesham balam dhima virakshitam. So this is also very interesting verse. Aparyaptam. Aparyaptam means not enough. Aparyaptam. Paryapta is enough. Aparyaptam is not enough. Tad asmakam. Let's read the translation. It's very beautiful. Someone else can read.
Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by Dishma. Whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited.
Okay, so he's basically sort of wrapping it up and saying, our strength is immeasurable. Huh? So paryaptam has two meanings. Let's look at the context here first. Sometimes we use some words and if you put some prefix in front of them, they change the meaning. The prefix can act as two. It can intensify the meaning or it can negate the meaning. So intensifier, for example, you have valuable jewelry, invaluable jewelry, like very, very valuable. Huh? Substantial thing, insubstantial thing, like not very important. Huh? There's substantial, like something important, insubstantial is not important. So a prefix can act in both ways. Now look at the commentaries of Acharyas here, and you'll love it. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baldev Vidyabhushan. So whom Prabhupada has taken most commentaries from? Baldev Vidyabhushan. Huh? So obviously he's writing our, and Baldev Vidyabhushan, what's the beauty of Baldev Vidyabhushan's writing? He looks at the tattva. Tattva is like Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, right? Is Vishnu not? Ram not? They are in tattva, they are all same. Huh? In tattva. But in rasa, who is higher? Krishna is the highest. Huh? Krishna has extra rasa. It's not Ram is sort of lower. No, Ram and Shyam, Ram and Krishna in tattva, in philosophically, they are same. But in rasa, Krishna exhibit more qualities, which even Lord Ram doesn't, Vishnu doesn't, Narayan doesn't play the flute. Narayan doesn't have Balya, childhood pastimes. So Baldev Vidyabhushan takes at the tattva. Tattva is like whatever is the fact. But rasa is different. If a father and a little 5-year-old son is fighting, who will win the fight? Who will win the fight? Child will win the fight. So this is rasa or tattva? That's rasa. That's not tattva. Father has lot more strength in tattva. Fact is, father maybe 80-kilo man, he can defeat 10 people. But with his own child, he will get defeated. That's the matter of rasa. So Krishna's reciprocation is devotees. He doesn't deal in tattva. Oh, you are a small jiva. No, he deals you with, and Krishna says, I'm also a person. So if you read the translation here, aparyaptam, Prabhupada translates, which is correct, immeasurable, right? Okay. They're all correct, but I'm talking little difference in rasa and tattva. So aparyaptam here refers to immeasurable because Duryodhana is saying our armies are immeasurable. But he's thinking in comparison, we are immeasurable, very, very big. That's what he means to say. But Saraswati ji, as per Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, is speaking from the mouth of Duryodhana and saying, A here in front of paryaptam is not intensifying the meaning, is negating the meaning. Understand? Intensifier means he's saying intensifier. My armies are big. So she's saying actually aparyapta. You're not enough in front of that army. Make sense? That's called rasa. It's not calculation of 7/11. It's a calculation of whoever you are there, doesn't matter, Krishna is there. So in front of Krishna and his devotees, you are aparyapta. Your strength is very, very low. Is it making sense? That's called rasa commentary and tattva commentary. Different, completely opposite meaning. Completely opposite meaning. So aparyaptam tadasmakam, there our army is aparyapta. Our army is not enough in front of them, but their army is paryapta. Paryapta is enough to do the purpose. Enough to do the purpose. And what's the purpose of their army? To gain victory over us. So they will gain victory. Duryodhana speaking. Okay, nice. Move forward. There's some little nice things here. There are many nice things actually. We just don't have enough time. But we'll pick some words.
Prabhu, a question. Hare Krishna, sorry.
Yes, Mataji.
So Prabhu, where does Saraswati come in all this? How
Yeah.
is she brought into the commentary, the goddess?
Thanks, Mataji. Very,
And
very
why
good.
does she speak for Duryodhan? I mean, she's a goddess and supposed to be
Thank you.
not taking side of the evil. So sorry.
Yeah, so Mataji's question is, where does Saraswati come from? So very nice question. So our acharyas, as you know already, open up the different secrets which generally we don't see in the shloka. Like the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita were always available, but the meaning which is brought by Prabhupada, for example, was so nice, so simply presented, so much accessible that we can understand a lot of it. Not everything, everything is too big, but a lot of it we can understand. And as Prabhupada said, as it is, as Krishna wanted to see. Now, suppose you didn't have this explanations of Prabhupada, will you be able to understand these verses? Word-to-word translation, full translation, then purport, and all these connections. So Prabhupada is sort of opening up the meaning, right? Similarly, our acharyas open up the meaning, and when they open up the meaning, and we'll see throughout, because it's based on Baldev Vidyabhushan, use of Saraswati, use of different questions which are not put in Bhagavad Gita. There, our acharyas are raising that questions. If Krishna said that, then Arjuna would have said that, and then Krishna responded that. So much opening up our acharyas are doing, and that's where devotees relish. So Bhagavatam verses are 18,000, but you see acharyas are writing commentaries and commentaries on commentaries and commentaries on top of commentary. Sridhar Swami commentary, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciated. Jiva Goswami is writing commentary on Sridhar Swami commentary. Now Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is writing commentary on Jiva Goswami's commentary, which is the commentary on Sridhar Swami, which is the commentary of Bhagavatam given by Vyasadeva, right? And then Baladev Vidyabhushan is writing on top of that. And the series just goes on and on and on. And what are these acharyas are doing? Adding more and more. And how are they able to add more and more? They can read the mind of Krishna. We can't. We are just, simple conditioned soul. But they can read the mind of Krishna. Why Krishna spoke this verse like this? And that's why each verse of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam or our all other varied scriptures are very relevant. Their ordering is very relevant. Why it's being spoken like that is very relevant. You cannot speak anything else. Now, we cannot understand, so our acharyas explain all this. So when we talk about Saraswati ji is speaking, Saraswati ji actually is the devotee of Lord Krishna. And we see when we ask Saraswati some literacy skills in this particular material world, is saying we are dealing with Maya Saraswati, illusory Saraswati Devi. The real Saraswati Devi is a devotee of Lord. And she will always give you devotion to the Lord, not knowledge. Now, knowledge may lead to devotion, that's fine, but knowledge may not. And many times it happens, knowledge does not lead to devotion. What it leads to? Pride. I'm so knowledgeable. Kunti Maharaj said, Jan Maishwarya Shruta Shridev, Edamana Madapuman, Nevaratya Vidhatube, Tvam Akinchan Kocharam. So knowledge actually many times leads to pride, which is exactly opposite to Krishna. So real Saraswati, Keshav Kashmiri incident in Chaitanya Charitamrita also tells clearly when Keshav Kashmiri says to Sastri ji, you gave me a boon, no one can defeat me in Shastra, in debate. How come this little boy defeated me? This 16-year-old boy defeated me. How come? So Saraswati ji very clearly says, I gave you boon that no one can defeat me in the world. But he is my Bap. He is my father. I didn't give boon that my father can't defeat you. And then Keshav Kashmiri next day went Dandavat Pranam to 16-year-old Nimai, please forgive me. And he became a devotee. Sarva Bhattacharya, same thing. A scholarly person, Dev Guru, Praspati, but they all get bewildered because of knowledge. But then Saraswati Devi guide them. This is the supreme personality of God, and we're not dealing with a person here. Person, no person can defeat, but it's a personal blessing. It's not God's. So who can defeat God? So Nimai defeated Keshav Kashmiri. Like within moments he defeated. Is it okay, Charumataji?
Yes, Prabhu, kind of. But we'll move on. Maybe we'll have a discussion afterwards. I'll ask you a question.
So Saraswati Mataji not taking sides of the evil. She's obviously taking side of Krishna and his devotees. So many times when these statements are made, Sastri ji speaking, when we say like that, it means Sastri ji actually is predicting what is going to happen in the future, and these statements are still valid, although they have spoken like invalid. So Sastri ji will speak these words from the mouth of Raman as well. You see in Ramayana there are statements. Raman said something, but it meant actually something else, and that's how our acharyas have explained these verses.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Prabhu.
Yes, I was actually listening to lecture by his Holiness Bhakti Maharaj.
Yes.
And he was actually talking about how Indra is talking ill about Krishna in the past.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then Bhakti Maharaj was actually explaining that Indra was speaking everything ill about Krishna, but
it was a
glorification, because it is a scripture. And when Mother Saraswati actually looks at the scripture, she actually looks at the point of glorification of Krishna. So although the words are insulting Krishna, but Mother Saraswati actually uses the same word to glorify Krishna. So it actually happens is that it's not Indra is cursing or talking ill about Krishna, is actually Krishna being glorified by Indra. Yeah. So it was so beautiful that it's because in the scripture, so Saraswati takes the route of glorifying Krishna in every possible form.
Very nice.
Very nicely spoken.
Similar example Prabhu has given from Bhagavatam, Govardhan Leela, when Indra is angry at Krishna, he has spoken few verses, and there's a translation of them. All the things which Indra is saying as insulting words for Krishna actually is a glorification of Krishna. Very beautiful section. I love that verses. Istampaha, Balisheshu. Every meaning is double meaning. Okay, let's move forward. Next verse. Okay, verse 12. Tasya sajjane harsham kuru vriddha pitama singhanadam vinodachai sankha dharma pratapavan. So this verse is not spoken by obviously Duryodhan. This is sort of ending the game of Duryodhan's word. Then Bhishma, someone else can read, who has not read yet. If someone would like to read.
Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandson of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch very loudly, making a sound like a roar of a lion and giving Duryodhana joy.
So Tasya sajjane harsham kuru vriddha pitamaha. So pitamaha refers to Bhishma. So Kuru vriddha, he is a vriddha, he is an elderly, is Kuru elderly. What did he do? Singhanadam vinodachai shankha. So he Dadma, he blew upon a very valiant, a giant shankha he blew, and it acted as a roar of a lion. And what did it do? What was the impact of that? Giving Duryodhan joy, which is the first line here. Tasya sajjane harsham. So it gave harsha, joy to Duryodhan. Now Duryodhan thought, because I have made such a great speech, that's why Bhishma is very enthusiastic and he's blowing the conch shell. But actually what has happened, Bhishma, after listening all this political word, he's a devotee of Lord, right? He said, I had enough, I've done actually interrupted by blowing the shankha. Suppose I'm giving a class, right? And 7 o'clock has happened, I'm still speaking. What a pujari will do in the temple? Blow the shankha. If I stop speaking, it's arti time. So sometimes shankha is acting as an interruption because stop. So what's happening inside? Bhishma blowing the shankha is acting like, enough of your words, political words. I'll start my duty. Yeah? But his morale is completely down. He is not into the war at all. Bhishma is not into the war. He knows who is right and who is wrong and whose side I should be, but for his war, he had to be on the other side. So it says Duryodhan thought giving joy to Duryodhan because he's political. He got the joy just as the outcome of it. But internally, Bhishma was not into it. Next one.
Did Duryodhan think at the time that, of whatever he's spoken, that's the result of it?
Yes, that's it says. So gave joy to Duryodhan. But actually, that was not the result of his speech. His speech actually annoyed him more. Duryodhan thinks, yes, I gave such a good speech. That's what we think sometimes. Okay. Tata Shankara Shubharyasya Padvana Gomka Sa Seva Bhayhanista Sa Sabdas Tumlo Bhavat. So this is after Bhishma Shan, everyone is blowing their conscience and other things which they had. Who will read the translation? Someone else.
All the conscience, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was simultaneous.
Yeah, so that's very clear. Next, move to the next one. Now, this is the last verse, or you can say the beginning of the next section of Bhagavad Gita. So, first section we all understood in nutshell. You're preparing for the war. You're talking about different Bharata, different warriors on this side and that side, and the Shankha is blown now. So when Shankha is blown, as per Vedic culture, the war can be started. So now one side has blown the Shankha. Now we go to the other side and see what's on the other side. Now who is explaining these verses? Sanjaya. So Sanjaya has put the camera first on the Kaurava's side. Now he's putting the camera on which side? Pandava's side. Huh? So Sanjaya is making all these verses. So when you have the count of Sanjaya's verses, 41 verses, Sanjaya spoke through all of them. They're all in that count because Sanjay is speaking. Now, this verse is very important, and we'll read this verse. Someone on the Zoom would like to read this verse? I will name someone, otherwise, there's so many people, there will be. For example, Sakhi Mataji, Sakhi Radhika Mataji. Would you like to read the verse?
I'll try, bro.
No problem.
I'll try.
No problem.
Verse number 14. Tatha shvetera hayara yukte mahati sayandane sthitito madhuvai pandavai chaiva divyam shankho pradadmuta.
The translation.
So shall I read the translation?
Yes, please.
On the other side, both Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells.
Okay, Tata Shvetaya Hayar Yukte. Shwet Hayar. Hayar means Hayagriva. So you have incarnation of Lord Hayagriva. We also have a demon Hayagriva. So Haya refers to the horse Griva, Hayagriva. So Shwet means white. Tata Shvetaya Hayar Yukte. So Yukta means intuition. You can say with that. So first thing is explained on the other side. So the first verse you can say for the other side description by Sanjaya. So he describes the chariot, because when in Hindi movie we all would have seen sometime that when the hero is taking an entry, so first time they will show the road, and then they will show the a very bright car, and then the door will get opened, and they will show the shoes of the hero, and there is some dum 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 dum, some sound coming, some exciting thing. The hero will come in a very expensive suit or jacket. He may have a pistol in his hand, and first they will show the head from behind. All these things happen. A very important figure is coming, and they will make step sound. It's coming, ding, ding, ding. Here you see who is the hero of the war. Tell me honestly. Barbaric say Krishna. When the Vyasdev and others went to Barbaric and asked, "What did you see in the war? Please tell, who is the man of the match?" That's what they call cricket. Who is the man of the match? What did he say? All I saw Krishna Sudarshan cutting off the heads. What Arjun and what this? So Krishna was doing everything. So Krishna is the hero. Now look at interestingly when Duryodhan is giving his speech, he mentioned how many names? Just roughly. Bhim and Arjun and few others names from the other party. Did he ever mention Yudhishthir? No. There's no main person. And whom he has not mentioned? Krishna. He never mentioned about Krishna, because what is he thinking? Is Krishna. He's just a Bala. He's weaponless. He's not going to do anything. So this is the thinking of godless civilization people. They don't think about the God. They don't count God at all. What they count is what they see. See. Pashyatam. You'll see that word. It's coming soon. So that shows all the mentality of these people. They don't count God in their calculation. They only have calculations on their side. How much bank balance they have, how much strength they have, how much connections they have. But when Prabhupada went to America, what did he carry with him? Krishna. Practically speaking, Prabhupada was solely dependent on Krishna. He didn't have anything. He didn't have money, he didn't have contacts. He was not from a Western country, he was from India. He's very aged person. So he was fully relying on Krishna. He had 2 heart attacks, and then he explained that Krishna came and gave me solace. Don't worry, you keep moving forward and I will help you. And then Prabhupada also explaining himself like a normal person, is saying, then I got some enthusiasm. Otherwise, I would have died in the ship. If the 3rd heart attack come, I will die. This is Krishna personally came and massaging my chest. And he said, and you must have seen that picture where all the incarnations of Dashavatar is there on the board, and they were rowing the boat. Just imagine if that sort of situation happens to us, even in young age, will you have any enthusiasm? But when Krishna or a devotee comes, please Prabhuji, get up. You can do it. It's all right. Problem comes in everyone's life. It's okay. Let's move forward. Krishna is with us because you are with Dharma. You are going there to fulfill the mission of your Guru Maharaj. You are not going for selfish purpose. When we came to Australia, I would say about myself, I did not come here for Hare Krishna. I never thought I'll be wearing a dhoti, talking about Bhagavad Gita with my shaved head. So I never thought, why did I come here? I'll be honest, to earn dollars. In India, it might have been difficult. So, bahar jao, and izzat milega. You'll get respect. You'll get money. So I came for that purpose, but Krishna and Gopinath had some other plans. So a godless person always celebrates the strength of his hand and strength of his other abilities. But a devotee is always putting Krishna first and then himself later. If Krishna is there, I can do it. Arjun never said, I can win the war alone. Krishna, if you are there, I can defeat. It says when Duryodhana and Arjun both went in Dwarika, we all know the past time, and after that has happened, Duryodhana has taken the army, and Arjun is with Krishna because Arjun is a friend of Krishna. He stayed back. And after Duryodhana is gone, Krishna asks Arjun, do you have any mind? You are going for a war, and Yudhishthira Maharaj has sent you to get my help. You need army, and you gave army to the other party, and you took me. Then Arjun made a very profound statement, He said, Krishna, if you are with me, what do you speak of this army? Even all the demigods go against me. I can single-handedly defeat all of them if you are with me. So he never said, Krishna, you fight with me. He never said that. You fight on behalf of me. He said, I will defeat them. But how I will defeat, when I will defeat? If you are with me, I can go against all the demigods. What to speak of this army? That's the confidence of a devotee. If Krishna is with me, I can do anything. But if Krishna is not with me, but I have some powers. If Krishna is not there, then also I can defeat at least 10-20 Gundas. Arjun never said that. He said, if you are with me, no worries. So that's why devotee is very, very confident. He's always fearless. Fearlessness does not mean you will go and cross the motorway with a blindfolded. I'm fearless. It's not fear. That's foolish. That's foolish. Huh? Fearlessness means I have Krishna with me. No matter what happens in life, I will be able to face that situation. So that's the confidence of a devotee. And when that confidence is in the devotee will be fearful or fearless. Fearless. Krishna is with me. Now, what will happen now? Arjun is not saying Arjun lost his son and sons and so many. He lost everyone. But what he wanted eventually, Krishna. The devotee is very, very clear in his purpose. On the way, problems will come. It's never a smooth journey. It was not a smooth journey after, he has heard Bhagavad Gita, now it's all smooth. Nothing. Then the actual war started actually. So, devotee is always confident with Krishna. And when Krishna is there in whatever form, he is in the form of a book, Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam, he is in the form of a deity or a photo, he is in the form of the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It says when Krishna's holy name comes in our tongue, Krishna is personally present. Rupa Goswami says that. So when Krishna is with us in the form of a holy name, should a devotee be fearful or quarrelsome or disagreeable with others? Krishna is with me. He's not foolish, he's not stupid, but he's fearless in his heart. No matter what comes, I'll face it. Now, I'll face it because I'm intelligent? No, I'll face it with Krishna. Krishna is with me. And whatever situation Krishna wants me to be, I will be in that situation. If you want need to live in a palace, I would live in palace. You want to live on the street, I would live on the street, no problem, no complaints. So here is our main hero coming, which is Krishna, and he's been mentioned first. You see on the other side, so obviously his stage is mentioned where he is, so that's Radha. We go back to the verse. Madhavaha. So first word in Bhagavad Gita used for Krishna is Madhav. Now I'm remembering Bhakti Sastri Maharaj. Not go there. He explained, I don't know, like 8 or 10 meanings of word Madhava, but we'll take just few. Madhav. What does Madhav mean? So, thank you, Mataji. You are reading Bhagavad Gita nicely. Prabhupada writes that translation, obviously, which is a very nice one. So, Madhav is the name of Krishna, who is the husband of the goddess of fortune. And Madhav means wherever the nice Basant Ritu is there, nice weather is there. That Ritu is called Madhav Ritu. And he's the killer of demon Madhu. Madhu Daitya is also known as Madhav. Many more meanings are there. Anyway, here Prabhupada writes, he's the husband of the goddess of fortune. Why does he take that meaning out of other meanings? Just guess. Very clear. First word used for Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and he is mentioned as Madhav. And the meaning of Prabhupada is beautiful connection. Simple. So Bhagavad Gita again and again declaring the victory of Pandavas from the very beginning. The word Madhav actually is showing that that Pandavas will be victorious, not the other side, because Madhav is with them. And when the husband of goddess of fortune is with you, now will you have to beg for $1 or $2? Prabhu, can you give me $1? Prabhu, Lakshmipati is with you. And it's not with you just for the sake of photo, No, he is with you all the time. He is driving your chariot out of love. So Madhav, first introduction is given of Krishna, very significant. He means Pandavas are going to gain the victory. Madhava, and the second mention is given for Pandav, who is here, Arjun. Madhava Pandava Shaive Divya Shankha Pradhan Mutu. So they also blew their Shankhas Divya, because Krishna's everything is Divya, transcendental. Now here Arjun's Shankh is also called as transcendental. Why? Because as Prabhupada said, when you put an iron rod in the fire, iron rod also act like fire. So when a devotee is with Krishna, obviously fully surrendered devotee, he also his paraphernalia also become divya, like Prabhupada's shawl, Prabhupada's shoes, anything Prabhupada used, that's considered like a paraphernalia of Krishna, because he's a pure devotee of Krishna. So not only Krishna's paraphernalia are important, even his devotees' paraphernalia are important, because they also act as a pure representative of Krishna. So Divya Shankha word is used for both Shankhas. The next one. Now this chariot is also very special. Just a quick side information. It was given by Agni, and the blessings was given. Whoever will be on this chariot will be victorious. So there's another sign of the victory of Pandavas, because he is sitting on a chariot which has been blessed by a great demigod Agni, that you will be victorious. Because if you sit on this chariot, you'll be victorious. Now, like you get a car, wherever this car goes, the victory will come. So when you sit in the car, the first thing will come into your mind, what? I'll be victorious. Now, Arjun is not thinking like that. This is our calculation. But this is another sign. So you see the section which we are reading right now is the signs of victory. These are all signs of victory which we are reading in these verses. This is also very nice verse. The next one.
Can I read, Prabhu, please?
Thank you, Mataji. Please, Vijay.
Panjajanyam Rishikesho
Panchajanyam Rishikesho
Devadattam Dhananjayah
Devadattam Dhananjayah
Antram Tatmau Mahashankam Bhima Vrikodarah. Translation. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell, called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his, the Devadatta, and Bhishma, the ferocious eater and performer of Herculean task, blew his terrific conch shell, called Poundra. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice recitation. Very sweet. Very clear, very sweet. Thank you, Mataji. Panchajana Hrishikeshu. Who is Hrishikesh here? Krishna. Now there's another name of Krishna given here. How many names of Krishna given in Bhagavad Gita in total? Hare Krishna, anyone? We read that. Huh?
31.
Huh?
31, Prabhu.
33. So there are 33 different names of Krishna given throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Huh? So this is the second reference of Krishna. Now Prabhupada writes, what does Hrishikesh mean? Everyone would have done the homework, home study. Huh? Master of the senses. He is the master and controller of the senses. Huh? So he not only obviously, now we are not the master of our senses fully, up to an extent. Obviously, we are all our master, but not every single situation, not every single, I should rather say, very few situations we have master. Huh? Other situations, it all goes on. Huh? Many times people get disease, they have no control even on their urine and stool. They are on the bed, this body just doesn't function that way. They don't know when it's gone out of the body. Huh? So in so many functions inside our body is going on, we have no control over. So we can't say all this. But Krishna is fully controlled. Now you can say, okay, when I'm 20, I'm in control. When I'm 60, I may not be able to. But Krishna, whether he's 40 or 20 or 60, is eternally full controller all the time. So this word is used for him, Hrishikesha. Panchajanam. What does Panchajanam mean? Conch shell of Krishna. That's a little history. Two histories. One history which we read in Mahabharata general story. So there was a demon named Panchajanya, which Krishna and Balram, when they were in Gurukul, and they're trying to give some Guru Dakshina to their Guru Maharaj, Dipani Muni, and they were looking for the sons of the Guru Maharaj. So first they went to the ocean, and they were told, go and kill the demon in the ocean, maybe he has taken. And the demon's name was Panchajanya. And he was in the form of a Shankha. But that's the external story which we read, and absolutely correct. But the internal story, Panchajanya actually is Krishna's eternal associate in Goloka. And this is always with Krishna. Like Krishna has a daga, a club. Krishna has a sword. He has a Sudarshan Chakra. He has a whatever dhoti he has, a bat he has. Every single thing in a special word, everything is chit. Everything is conscious. So everything actually is a devotee of Lord. Sudarshan is a devotee. It's not a weapon, not just a weapon. It's a devotee of Lord. So similarly, Panchajanam is the Krishna's eternal Shankha. It's not he just received the Shankha in this Dwapar Yuga from this demon and all that. That's a story which we get, and that's correct. And there are multiple arrangements behind the scene. No? How many things we do, and then on the show we represent something. So behind the scenes, Panchajanya is the eternal associate of Krishna. Panchajanya, Devadatta Dhananjaya. Who is Dhananjaya? Arjun. Why is this name is mentioned? The previous name, Arjun, in the previous verse was Pandava. In this verse, another name of Arjun is coming, Dhananjaya. What does Dhananjaya mean? Winner of wealth, yes. Dhananjaya, rather than winner, I said accumulator of wealth. Who gets a lot of wealth. Now, he's a devotee, Prabhu. Why is he accumulating wealth? Why is he accumulating wealth? How does this name come from? Quick history. Yes, Prabhu. So Arjun, just repeating what you said for the Zoom devotees. So Arjun was asked by Yudhishthira Maharaj to get a lot of wealth to do Rajasuya Yajna because he needed a lot of money because he was performing very big yajna. So Arjun actually went in one direction and he got a lot of wealth. And there are stories behind it. How did he get all that? A lot of wealth. So much wealth that from that incident onwards, they started known as Dhananjaya because he could get a lot of it. Like if I ask you to bring wealth, you will bring $100, $200. Someone brings like $10 million in one day. Like, what? Never expected that much. So Dhananjaya, his name Dhananjaya. Now, what does this is the material meaning of the word Dhananjaya? What is spiritual meaning of word Dhananjaya? He not only accumulates material wealth, which is also true, he is the accumulator of his spiritual wealth. And this is why he is with Krishna. Now, Krishna is not with just another billionaire. If you're a billionaire, You like to roam around with millionaires, isn't it? In India, you're a big politician or a big celebrity. You'll go in a party, you'll see all his sort of status people will be there in the party. Will not be invited, isn't it, Sanskrit? And I'm happy not being invited there. But what you will see, all the millionaires and billionaires, they only associate with their status people. Huh? They're not associated with simple people like us. Kuch bhi nahi unke samne hum log, huh? So they will never invite us. But this Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the owner of all the 6 bhagas. There are 6 bhagas. That's the meaning of word Bhagavan. Now, why is he roaming with Dhananjaya? Not because he has accumulated, $10 trillion or something. Still, in front of Lakshmipati, what is his Arjuna's wealth? Huh? Nothing. But he is a Dhananjaya in the real sense. He accumulates spiritual wealth. He pleases Krishna with his services. It says, when we chant in the morning, how many people chant in the morning? Okay, I'll not ask personal question. Everyone is smiling. We all chant whenever we can. But if we chant in the morning, then suppose we had a late night, we had a program, holy festival or something like that. So what happens when you chant? You sleep, isn't it? We sleep while we chant. But it says Arjun, and there's an incident written in Mahabharata, he was chanting while sleeping. If you go and approach, if Arjun was sleeping here on the couch of Rupa Prabhu, for example, he was sleeping, you can hear Krishna, 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 Krishna. I don't know how does it happen, but you could hear the sound vibration coming out of Arjuna while he's sleeping or resting. This is Arjuna. Huh? So he chanted while he's sleeping, and we sleep while we chant. So he's a very important person. He's a very, very great devotee. He's an eternal associate of the Lord. So that's why he's known as Dhananjaya, not just the external wealth. Huh? He is the real accumulator. So we should also become Dhananjaya. But we're already doing it. This investment, that investment, double job, triple job. I'm going to get this inheritance from my father, that from my uncle. There's a joke. This is 2 boys were walking, and one guy was very serious, very morose. So the friend asked, Prabhuji, what? Not Prabhuji, Mr. A, what happened? Why are you so morose? Why are you not happy? Huh? He said, what? 1 month ago, my grandfather passed away. Oh, that's why you're happy. No, not that. But when he left his body, he left, $1 million for me. Oh, that's a great news. No, but I'm morose. Why are you morose? A fortnight ago, my uncle also passed. Oh, really? That's why you're morose? No. He also left 2 million for me. Oh, really? So you already got 3 million. Your grandfather passed, your uncle passed. He said, this week, 4 days have passed. No one has passed as yet. That's why I'm morose. So we're all Dhananjaya. We are trying to accumulate wealth, hook or crook. No one has passed away this week. That's why I'm morose. So we are Dhananjaya. And we're trying our best in this material world, a tiny creature, for the tiny amount of time, we're trying our best to show someone something. Kuch karke dikhana hai, huh? I want to show something. I am something. Huh? We are extremely tiny. Our existence on this tiny Earth planet is very, very tiny. And in tiny moments, we are extremely illusioned to accumulate wealth or fame. We want to make followers, how great I am. We want to prove to our neighbor or to our community how great we are. That's not required. That's not the purpose why Krishna is sending us here. Krishna has sent us for this purpose. Dhananjaya, go and accumulate spiritual piety in this little human life. That's the purpose. And we completely go other way. Which job, which contracting, permanent, this leave, that leave, huh? We're all struggling in that, our illusions. So, okay, whatever needs to be done, we do, but we should be very clear about our purpose, about the purpose. Like one lecture Prabhupada was giving in India, he said one thing in India, I'll translate that. So he was saying to all the people that, please do some bhajan and get out. He was explaining, he said, this world is not a place to be lived by a gentleman or gentle lady. Prabhupada was like trying to give this message. Don't live here, it's not a very nice place, get out. Prabhupada in his lecture compared this material like a bathroom, dirty place. Don't stay there, get out, go to your original place. So when Mataji asked the question, And Prabhupada, you said it's like a bathroom, but you have to go to bathroom. This Mataji asked this question to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada very nicely he said, okay, you need to go to bathroom, but you go to bathroom, but if you stay back there forever, are you a very intelligent person? You go to bathroom and do your purpose and get out. So you are here for a purpose. Do the purpose, get out. I mean, you go to the bathroom after 1 hour, Mataji is knocking. Where are you? What happened? I like it so much. I've just applied for my residency here. I'll get a citizenship here. I'll just stay here. It's so nice and comfortable. We don't even need the AC. It's so cool. That's not very intelligent. You go, do your purpose and get out. So this place is like that. We are sent for a purpose by Krishna on an important mission. We are we are loving children of Krishna. And we are lost children of Krishna and still lost. He gives us so much facility. He gives us temple, he gives us books, he gives us this, this sort of programs, God Purnima, Ram Navami, Janmashtami, so that we can go and accumulate some dhan, some spiritual piety. We become purified. If not in this world, 1 or 2 or 3 verses, we get out. So we should not become completely illusioned by this illusory energy. Do what is need to be done. Do your responsibilities with a detached mode and attain this position of Dhananjaya. At least some spiritual piety before we leave this body, we should attain. Prabhupada said, at least do something which makes you human in next birth. Don't become animal in the next birth. At least become a human. Huh? And if you have done some devotion to Krishna, even if you forget, Krishna will remember. And then he will make arrangements for you. So basically, Prabhupada was very compassionately saying to his grandchildren, please do something. Don't waste your human life. Prabhupada was in a room and his servant explains this pastime, written in a book I heard somewhere. So he heard Prabhupada speaking to someone and he knew there's no one in the room. So whom Prabhupada is speaking with? Prabhupada was little upset. So he peeped from the door and he's looking inside the room. Prabhupada on his table, he was translating. And then he is looking at the table and he's looking at this something which the servant doesn't know as yet. He's saying, what are you doing here? Why are you wasting your time? So servant's curiosity increases. He goes in the room and he looks at it. Prabhupada speaking to a bug. There's a little bug on his book on which he's writing. Bug walking. So Prabhupada is getting little compassionate on this. Why are you wasting your life? How much time you have already wasted? And by the time he said that, he died. So this servant, by the time he came inside the room, so Prabhupada said, put him in a maha flower and throw him out. Prabhupada still wanted to give mercy to a bug. Just imagine how much compassionate he was towards us humans. He's writing, he stops his writing and he talks to this bug. He said, why are you wasting your time? So imagine how much time we waste. So we should utilize. Prabhupada said, if you have time, chant Hare Krishna. Don't waste time. This time you will not get. Prabhupada quoted many times, Chanakya Pandit. Even if you give billions of dollars or gold coins, you will not get that time back. 540 of 20th March 2022 is past. We cannot bring it back. No one can bring it. That time is past. In India, you saw, when you're traveling in the train, time pass, Moonpali, time pass, Moonpali. Take the peanuts so that you can pass your time. But time doesn't, you don't pass the time. Time is passing us. Time is passing us. How are we passing the time? Time is going on. Time is going on. So time is passing us very, very fast. When I came in this country, I had a lot of hair, to be very honest. I can show you some photos as well. Something happened. No one wants to be aged, look ugly. But we are thrown. Vinay Prabhu, you agree? See? We are in the same group. So no one wants to be old, but we are getting old. Nature is forcing us, and nature will force us. Viraj Prabhu tells this nice incident. His Guru Maharaj, his Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, he was on the bed. He had some problem. He was in the hospital. So some disciples arrived in well wishes and was like saying, oh Maharaj, you have this, you have that. Maharaj looked at all of them. He said, you will also come to this. So don't just become sympathetic towards me. You become sympathetic towards yourself. So whatever is happening to me will happen to you as well. You'll also come to hospital bed one day. Huh? So it's not something for others. You will also be in the same situation. So while you have energy in the body, you should utilize our time. So this word Dhananjaya actually is very, very important. I love this part. Huh? So attain some spiritual piety every day, every moment, whatever is possible, little bit. Boon boon karke sagar bharta hai. Whatever you can attain, do something good for yourself and for others in a spiritual sense, obviously. And it must. Krishna is very kind, very, very kind. Okay, so that was the first line. What's the time? Okay, 6. Okay. Pandra Dharma Mahashankam. So Bhima Karma Vrakodara. So next line obviously refers to Bhima, who is Vrakodara. He has a big belly, you can say, not in terms of size. Obviously, he's very, very powerful warrior from his side. And Prabhupada writes, Bhima was not only a voracious eater, that's what Prabhupada writes. He was not only eating voraciously, he was working voraciously as well. No? So Bhima is not someone whom we think who is eating a lot. Prabhupada also mentioned and other sannyasis as well many times. So when you have a car, obviously you need to maintain the car. Huh? You have to put some fuel in the car, which is very expensive these days. You may not like it. And you need to give car to repair for some time. And when the bill comes, you don't like that, but you have to pay RTA tax, blah, blah, blah. But why are you doing all this? You're putting fuel in the car, you're maintaining the car, you're paying the thousands of dollars, third-party insurance, this party insurance, just to maintain the car. But why are you maintaining the car? For a purpose, so that you can travel from here to North Sydney Temple, isn't it? Or your other destined places. That's the purpose, isn't it? If car just takes the maintenance and doesn't do any work, would you like that sort of car? I would. You spend $5,000 a year just to maintain a car, it doesn't work. Throw it away. Why are you maintaining the car? What do you call Buddha Hati? Old fat elephant who just eats and does nothing. No one likes that. But car has a purpose. And if the car is fulfilling the purpose, you will maintain it. You will spend whatever is needed. So similarly, this human body has a purpose. So Prabhupada said, we should not just eat and sleep. Why do we eat? My Guru Maharaj said very nicely. He said, we don't eat, we don't live to eat. We eat to live. He came to my place and I was like, it's so late, this and that. He was in a program. He took his lunch at 5 p.m. or something like that. Very, very late that day. He usually takes at 2 o'clock and he's very pakka on his time. 5 o'clock. So I was like, Maharaj, so much late, this and that. I was in a program. He was like, all right. But I was not, sort of, I was like 3 hours late. So I was in a program. I was serving Krishna. That's all right. It happens. He was in Rath Yatra and something happened late. Anyways, he came late and then he said, it's all right. We are here, we are eating so that we can, and we are going for another program just after that because it's an evening program time. So we should, very nice statement. We should just not eat and eat what we can eat today. So what we're going to make today, nice, but what we're going to do today, that is more important question rather than what we're going to eat today. So we should eat, especially as Prabhupada said, once you come in devotion, first 6 months, you eat till here. And after that, you eat just to maintain your body and soul together. And in our cases, we are still the neophytes. If someone asks our age, we are under 6 months. Under 6 months. Why? Every program we go, we eat till here, isn't it? I went last night for some program. We ate probably till here. Devotees made such a nice prasad. How can you resist? When you go to the next program and all your vows are broken. Okay, Damodar vows, sweet vows. You have to be super strong, isn't it? In Glenfield, how many programs we do? In Damodar, what, 50 or something? Yes. Whenever you go, can you refuse? Only few can do it. So, point is, Prabhupada mentioned, Bhima was not just eating, he was working. So we should also work. We can eat, and you're allowed to eat pizza and pasta and whatever you like, but you should work. Work for what? Dhananjaya? Yes, actually, real Dhananjaya. So Prabhupada, if you have nice prasad, nice house, nice car, blah, 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 utilize it for the service of Krishna. Just don't become an external achiever in these things. I'm living very comfortably. That's not the purpose. This comforts will be taken away sooner or later. Let's finish this. So this Bhima, another eternal associate of the Lord, Pandram. So then his Shankha name is Pandram. So we come to know these 3 Shankhas. Panchajanya, Pandram, and Devdatta. Mahashankam. What does Mahashankam mean? His Shankha was very, very big. Very, very big. And there's explanations on that. I'll not go there. Yes, sir.
what is that Bhima's saying that, like how we walk, when we walk, like a tree comes to the tree, it takes time. When Bhima used to walk, the tree comes, the tree has to go. Even his direction won't change.
Yeah.
Anything that comes to the tree has to.
Very nice. So Rupa Prabhu is explaining the strength of Bhima. One more thing, because you have mentioned that, I will also mention one. So when Draupadi was married to Pandavas, the first day when she came, we all know the story, So Kunti was training how to serve the husband, because mother-in-laws, even mothers in the past, not sure about the present, used to train the girls how to serve the husband nicely. So Kunti Maharani very nicely was training Draupadi how to serve the husband. So one of the training she gave, the very first day, very important training she gave to Draupadi. Whenever you make prasad or you get prasad from outside, because they were living in jungle, many times they will just get prasad, they can't go. Whatever quantity you have, you divide into two pieces, two parts. So there are seven people there. Seven. So 5 Pandavas, Kunti, and Draupadi. 7 people are there. So divide into two. One portion goes to Bhima, and another portion goes to 6 of us. So if you have 12 chapatis, divide into 2. 6 for Bhima, 1 for Yudhishthira, 1 for Arjun, 1 Nakul, Sahadev, 1 Draupadi, and 1 Kunti. That was Bhima. You read that? But that's his mercy. We get this part of Vijay Ekadashi. Because Bhima has taken the boon from Vyasadeva. Anyone who follows Panda Vijay Ekadashi with faith and devotion just once a year. Now, it's not a recommendation you live upon that one, but just if you are like Bhima, after consulting with your spiritual master, that's what Bhima did. So if your spiritual master allows, yes. But before that, no, you have to follow all the Ekadashis. So Vyasadeva allowed him to do that. So he was only following one Ekadashi. And this boon, actually, Bhima got this for all of us. Whoever follows the Panda Vijay Ekadashi, he gets the benefit of following all the other Ekadashis as well. So if accidentally you have broken any Ekadashi while traveling, or you have taken rain accidentally, that gets covered by the mercy of Bhima. If you listen to the stories of Bhima's compassion, we listen to the story of Bhima's strength. You don't hear stories of Bhima's compassion. He was very compassionate, very compassionate. That's why he's such a great Vaishnava, Bhima. Okay, let's move forward. We'll go to 6:15. My point is 4:15 to 6:15. Okay? If no one is angry, is all right?
Yes, but I think there are a couple of questions.
Oh, couple of questions. Okay, let's do that.
Not related to this, but otherwise I'll mention you.
Okay. Okay, so I think how many verses we have done? I don't know the number. 15. Okay, let's stop here. 11 verses. Okay, good for the day. Let's take some questions. We start from the today's discussion first, and then we'll move to the other part. So if anyone has any questions, please, we can try to answer that.
There's no question here.
No question here. Oh, very nice. Okay, what's the last question?
So the question was from
I think I already explained. I've spoken to her. I've explained to her. Yes. Kunchar Mataji is here somewhere. Kunchar Mataji, I think we have spoken, so that is sort of resolved. Yep. Yep.
It's okay.
Kunchar Mataji, you still have some clarifications for that?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay.
You mentioned that Karna didn't join the war right from the beginning.
Yes.
And he was an important warrior from Duryodhan's side. Was there any particular reason why he didn't join, and
Yes.
Which day did he join?
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So I'll just repeat the question for everyone's benefit. So Karna was not present in the war at this particular stage. So Mataji's question, why he was not present and when did he join the war later? Okay, so just a little back step. So when both parties were doing the preparation of the war, this is before the war I'm talking, few days before, something like that. So obviously Kauravas were also planning, and their commander-in-chief was Bhima. So Bhima was sort of going through his main list of warriors and sort of judging their strength. So he was asking, if you are the only one, for example, said Dronacharya, what's your strength against Pandavas? So this sort of preparation is quite varied. I'm sure I can take a recent example of Ukraine and Russia. Their leaders will be, counting upon their great warriors and their great weapons, their air forces or their military forces, whatever it is. So Everyone does it. So Bhima was also doing it. No, sorry, not Bhima. Bhishma was also doing it. So when Bhishma came to Karna, so he said, Karna, what do you say about your strength? So everyone was saying, and they were not bluffing. They were realistic people. So Karna said, my dear Commander-in-Chief Bhishma, I can defeat all the Pandavas and their army single-handedly in 1 second. And Bhishma looked very doubtful on this. And he looked with his, Tirshi Nazar say, he looked with a side glance on Karna, and he made a statement. This is Bhishma speaking to Karna in their preparation of the war, a few days before actual war. He said, Karna, you seem to be speaking very great words about you, but never I have seen your words getting converted into the speed of your arrows. So he's very clearly passing the message. You talk great about yourself, but I have personally never seen the words of your speed matching with the speed of your arrow. Everyone speaking very big about themselves. But when it comes to the action, I can cook 100 dishes in half an hour. Achha, really? Let's try it out. And you end up in messing up half a dish in half an hour. Huh? You say, okay, first time gone, second time gone, third time gone. So Karna was actually very upset on that, and he said, what do you think about myself? I'm also a great warrior. In terms of linguistics, if you say, so there are Maharathas, Atirathas, Rathis, Artharathis. There's a hierarchy in that. So Maharathis obviously in the top. So Maharathis, Rathis, Atirathis, Rathis, and Ardharathis. Ardharathis are the sort of lowest in sort of that hierarchy. So Bhishma, Karna asked, what do you think about myself? Am I not a Maharathi? And Bhishma said to Karna very clearly, you are a Ardharathi. He put himself on the fourth number, the lowest one. And Karna could not take the words of Bhishma. He said, I am a Maharathi. And there are explanations behind it, and I can go on another half an hour explaining why Bhishma said what he said, and he was right. Bhishma was right. Anyways, Karna got very upset, his ego got hurt, and he said, I will not participate in the war. Till the time Bhishma is there, I will not participate in the war. And he walked out of the assembly. So basically, Karna did not participate in the war initially. When Bhishma sort of went into the arrows, the bed of the arrows, then Karna came. So Karna came technically on the 11th day of the war. So he only survived 7 days. 18th day, 17th actually, 17th day of the war, he got killed by Arjuna. So he only fought for 6.5 days. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you. I saw Rasananda Prabhu in Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, one question. What are the list of vows Bhima took after the gambling match? Probably we didn't discuss this, but it looks to be one of the questions in the closed book.
Okay. So, it is one of the questions. Thank you. Devotees are looking at the questions. Thank you. Very good news. Sometimes you hear these questions just before the exam. Prabhu is a very serious devotee. Okay. So, I'll just repeat the question. What are the vows Bhima had taken after the gambling match? Is that right, Prabhu? So he took 2 vows primarily. Hare Krishna. Just a few minutes in that. So Bhima took 2 vows primarily. So one vow he took, I'll tell you the reason as well. So when the Shashan dragged Draupadi into that assembly, obviously it was a very, very low kind of act from that side, and that was one act of it, bringing Draupadi itself. It says in Shastra, Manusmriti very clearly mentions, and I'm speaking on behalf of Manusmriti, don't take it personally in the present situations, because present situations are very different. So Manu Maharaj is speaking in Manusmriti very clearly. A woman's hair should only be touched by his father, parents, and husband, and obviously the kids in that age group. No one else should touch the woman's hair. Very clearly should. Because the Shashan touched the hair of Draupadi just by touching the hair of Draupadi. It says the Shashan and all the people assembled in that assembly lost their life that moment itself. As Prabhupada gives a very nice example, when you become a devotee, all the previous life reactions goes away. And also it says when you take initiation from Acharya, from a Guru, he takes the reaction of all your past life. We need all that. But Prabhupada was asked, why do you still have all those problems in the life? So Prabhupada said, it's very simple. If a fan is running, you switch off the fan still seems to be running. It's just a matter of time when the fan will completely stop. So it says the Shashan, with all the brothers, lost their life immediately, including Bhishma actually, because of this one thing. Bhishma was asked, so we are not going that pastime of Bhishma being present there. So the Shashan and all the family lost their life just, it's a verse actually, just by the touch of the hair of Draupadi. So that's one part. So Bhima took a vow that, you have touched the hair of my wife, you're all gone. And they all supported Duryodhana. They all supported Duryodhana. Second thing, this is the first instance. Second instance, what happened in the assembly. So first itself was wrong. In the assembly, Duryodhana opened his thigh and said, bring this woman on my thigh. And that was actually started by Karna. And that's how Arjun took a vow that you have called my wife a prostitute. Because Karna said, what is that chaste wife living with 5 men? That's what Karna's statement was. Then Arjun took another vow, I will kill Karna. And Bhima took a vow that time that because Duryodhana, you have opened your thigh, saying that the statement, which for me is irrepeatable, but he said, I will break your thigh. Now, I'll just take 2 more instances to complete this. Just before the war, Atreya Rishi came to Hastinapur to meet Dhritarashtra. Just before the war had already been decided. Atreya Rishi is very, very powerful. He can give blessings of anything. He went to Dhritarashtra and he said, this war should not happen. Dhritarashtra said statement, I'm helpless, go to my son. Atreya Rishi is such a big celebrity, he still went to the chamber of Duryodhana and he said, Duryodhana, my dear Duryodhana, I'm talking to you like my son. Please don't engage in the war. This will just bring, destruction to all the dynasty. So Duryodhana that time, it says in Mahabharata very clearly, it said Duryodhana that time laughed at Atreya Rishi and he showed his thigh. In India, sometimes they have to show their strength. They slap their thighs. He said, I will kill every single one of them. Atreya Rishi recursed Duryodhana that the thigh which you are slapping right now will be broken by them. So Duryodhana actually had 2 curses on the thigh, one by Bhima, one by Atreya Rishi. And the second thing which I wanted to mention about, what was the second thing? Bhima's also, that's complete. So you got the answer, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. And also Duryodhana's life is also in his thighs, right?
Sorry, Prabhu?
Duryodhana's life is also, as I said, is in the thighs.
Life is in thighs. Yes, Prabhuji. That's because of Gandhari incident. There's another curse also Duryodhana had. When he's in harsh situation, he will leave the body. He had many curses throughout his life. We're just talking about this context. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
I have one more instance to share with you all. I forgot. Anyway, it's all right. It will come sometime. Okay. Anyone else has any questions on Zoom?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I got a question on verse 12.
Okay.
It says that the Bhishma blew the conch shell, making a sound like a roar of a lion.
Yes, yes.
That would indicate a great strength, and that would, and in the purport it says indirectly it informed Duryodhana that they had no chance of victory. So it doesn't sort of make sense. It's kind of contradictory, actually.
No, I've already explained a similar point, Prabhu. Bhishma did not do the conch shell because he was enthusiastic by the speech of Duryodhana. He was actually annoyed. And he blew the conch shell just to do his duty. He had no hope of winning over the other party. I already sort of explained a similar point. So he had no hope. But externally, Duryodhana became very joyful that I have made a speech and my commander-in-chief has blown the conch shell because of my speech. No, it's not contradictory. No, Bhishma knew very clearly who Krishna is, and he knew Krishna's party will be the winning party, not my party. But he was just doing his duty because he had taken a vow, obviously, many years ago, that he will protect the throne of Hastinapur. Whoever sits there, I will be protecting that person. In you, I'm going to die, everyone will die here. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, he had no enthusiasm to fight for many reasons, actually, for many reasons. Okay, anything else here? Yes, Prabhuji.
A different question.
No problem.
Just on the logistics.
Okay, we'll do the logistics in a minute. I also have one thing. And any questions related to the topic? Yes, Mataji.
Not from these verses, but later on, Arjuna will be addressed as Buddha Kesha.
Yes.
So he's like controller of.
I'll tell about that later.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever it comes next week. Very beautiful word. I love that word. And
So you mentioned the sleep part.
Yeah.
Use the knowledge.
Yeah. No, Mataji, we have picked up a very nice word. We'll explain it. We'll explain Baldev Vidyabhushan Thakur, and we'll also explain Vishwanath Thakur. You'll love it. Yeah. Both acharyas have given their own commentaries. Beautiful. Okay. Charu Mataji, last question.
Just Prabhu, you may not, I mean, it's not, if you don't want to answer it now, it's okay. I just want to know if we do want to refer to those commentaries by Baldev Vidyabhushan, can we, or where can we find them?
Bhanu Maharaj. So Bhanu Maharaj has done a lot of work on these commentaries, translating from, say, Bengali to English. He's still working on Bhagavatam, but Baldev Vidyabhushan is there. Gita Bhushan is already published in the market. You can buy a book for $15, $20 or something.
Where from our
where from is a
temple?
good question. I think that answer can be given by one of the brahmacharis. I can't answer that one, but it's available in the market. Gita Bhushan is the book. Yeah, that's for Baldev Vidyabhushan. And obviously we have many more other commentaries.
Okay,
you can just do chapter 1 for 1 year. Honestly, it's so nice. Okay. Okay. Let's. Any more? I think there's no more questions. If you have, please write it, and we'll try to answer next week. Now, just a few logistic questions.